Hello and welcome to today's Hangout, Document Management, Hyperlinking, and Slipsheeting. This Hangout is brought to you by Applied Software's Construction Technology Group, the premier construction systems integrator in North America. I'm Clifford Trotter, and I'm delighted to be your moderator today. Throughout our presentation, we encourage you to interact with us by typing in questions and comments using the questions pane. We will be answering questions at the end of the presentation. This webinar is being recorded and will be available to you online on our YouTube channel. We will also send you an email following the webinar with a link to the recording. If you haven't already, search Applied Software on Facebook and like our page to receive the latest information and special offers. When you visit our website, ASTI.com, there's a complete schedule of upcoming events, webinars, trainings, and more. And if you'd please take note of our upcoming Hangouts. We've got the BIM 360 Hangout Automating Your BIM 360. That's going to be April 7th. And please take note of our upcoming events as well. It's going to be Thursday, March 17th, St. Patty's Day, BIM and Beer Miami, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Wynwood Brewing Company in Miami, Florida. Now, following the Q&A at the end of the webinar, we will give away a $25 Visa gift card. You must be present to win the gift card. Our presenter today is going to be Clinton Cook, one of our specialists, our senior specialist here, and he has got about 5 years, just a little over 5 years in the industry, worked for a national general contractor prior to joining Applied Software, and he's held several different roles within the industry, including field engineer, estimator, and project cost analyst. And at this point, I'll hand it over to Clinton.
All right, thanks, Cliff. So today we're going to be talking about hyperlinking, slipsheeting, and document management. Some of y'all may say, you know, this is a BIM 360 webinar, so why are we talking about Bluebeam? But Bluebeam actually complements BIM 360 Field pretty well when it comes to document management. So Field currently does not auto hyperlink for you or do any of those features, but it will honor those in a PDF if they're done. So Bluebeam offers a pretty good workflow for this. And so we're just going to kind of go through one strategy of how to manage your documents, how to manage revisions, hyperlinking your RFIs, and really creating a good set of documents that can be easily navigated on your iPad in the field. And then we'll talk about how we upload those to Field and a little bit of versioning inside of Field. So today's focus is really going to be on the Bluebeam workflow. I'm just going to show you one way today to manage this. There's several different workflows to do this, but I'm just going to show you how we manage this at Applied. So I'm just going to get right into it, and we'll start the live demonstration here. So if we go to our this webinar's docs folder here, I've got a little bit of a sample set, a small sample set in here for this webinar. And what we have is we have some architectural drawings sent as a combined PDF. I've got some shop drawings, or I've got one shop drawing, and I've got one RFI, just for demonstration purposes. And keep in mind, there's going to be a general theme of how we name our documents throughout the webinar. It's going to be the sheet number, followed by an underscore, followed by the description. And we're going to continue doing that throughout the webinar, and you'll notice that theme as we go through. So to start out, let's go ahead and pretend that we've just gotten our design document set from the owner, and we're going to start to set this up in a way that can be easily managed on the iPad and be uploaded into BIM 360 Field. So the first thing we want to do when we get into a set is we want to kind of just get a general idea of what the title block looks like, and is that title block consistent on every page. So here in this preview window on the left, we can just quickly flip through here and look at the different title blocks to see if they're consistent. And it does appear that these title blocks are consistent. So the next thing that we want to do, and we talked a little bit about, was splitting these files into individual sheets. And the individual sheets allows your iPad to load these quickly. And when those sheets are hyperlinked, they really make it easy to navigate from one drawing to another. and we're going to walk through that process. So the first thing we need to do is export our sheets as individual files and name them appropriately. So the first thing we're going to do is use the Bluebeam Auto Mark feature. So right here on the left-hand side in the top, it says Create Page Label. We're going to select that button. From here, we're going to select Page Region, and it's going to ask us which pages to apply this to, and we're going to say 1 through 19. So we're going to hit Select, and it's going to prompt us. I now have a crosshair on my screen here that's going to prompt us to select an area. So we're going to select the sheet name, and now we have a preview here. You can see that it picked up that sheet name, A102, and we want to add that underscore. So remember that theme we talked about. So this underscore is going to be a delimiter for us when we create our hyperlinks, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a little bit. But the next thing we want to do is we want to add the description to this page. So we're going to add another region. So we're going to click Add. We're going to be prompted to select another region. We're going to select this entire area in the title block here. And now you can see the preview says A102 underscore ground floor. And that's exactly what we're looking for. Now remember, this applies to all of these pages. So it's going to go through and it's going to scan each one of those regions on each page, and it's going to add that as our page label. So we'll click OK. It's going to process that portion. And now you can see we have a usable description and page name on the left-hand side here. So A103 second floor. Now all we're going to do is just scroll through these really quick and see if we see anything obviously wrong. And it looks like everything's kind of coming in pretty good. So let's just spot check one here. So symbols and legends, we've got G002, symbols and legends, and it was named correctly. So everything looks like it came in good. All right, the next thing we want to do is, now that we have this, we want to leverage this information from these sheet names. And the way we're going to do that is extract these pages, and then we're going to use the sheet names as the file names. So there's two ways you can do this. You can right-click from the left-hand side of the screen on the thumbnail here, and you can get to extract pages, or you can go to the top here under pages, and you can actually extract pages here. So either one works. They both get you to the same menu. Typically, I like to right-click and select it. We want to start out with our page range. We want to apply this to all pages. And the options we want to set, we want to extract these pages as separate files. Again, we just labeled these with a meaningful label, so we want to use the page labels to name the files. And we want to override any existing files that exist. And we'll just go ahead and update the hyperlinks with relative paths. So let's do that, and we'll click OK. All right, so now within my webinar docs folder, I don't have a repository for these. So the first thing I'm going to do is create one. So let's create a folder called DD Drawings. And this is where all 19 of those individual files will land. I'm going to select that folder, hit Select Folder, and it's going to extract those pages and send them there. So we've extracted those pages. I'll go ahead and save the combined sheet here. And then I'm just going to close that out and show you all kind of what happened here. So inside of this DD Drawings, I actually have all 19 of those pages listed, right? And they're actually named a relevant name, which is important when you're trying to navigate or scan through on your iPad inside a field. You want to be able to quickly see what page you're clicking on. If it was simply named A001 or A303, no one would know what that sheet represented. So now that we have these applicable names here, we actually want to go through, and just like we showed before, we already have one RFI. So I'm going to go here to the ground floor level, and I'm going to apply an annotation for this particular document. So let me my go-to webinar things in the way here. So let me add this annotation right here. So we're going to select this area. We have a drop-down, and we're going to name this RFI-01 space clarification. Okay, so now we've got this here, and it's a best practice as you create your annotations to either flatten them by right-clicking and flattening, or you can flatten the entire document by being selected on your Document tab here and hit Flatten. So now it's flattened this document, and what that does is it eliminates me from accidentally sliding that somewhere else and actually makes it a part of this drawing. And the reason this is important is when we set up hyperlinks, we want to scan for that RFI-01, and if this is not flattened, it won't be a part of the document. Therefore, that scan will not pick that RFI-01 up. So we've got that done. We're going to save that document. So we've applied our RFI. Now we want to actually go through here, and we want to do one more thing. Since this is our first set, we're actually going to create a drawing folder called Current Documents. And you'll see why this is here in a little bit. But we're going to create one called Current Documents. I'll tell you what, let's do this. So we're going to actually just copy this one, and we'll rename it. We're going to paste it back in here, because these right now are our current documents. Okay? So now that we've got that done, what we want to do is we actually want to hyperlink these, and we want to include that RFI so it gets picked up as well. So we're just going to go back into Bluebeam. You don't have to have the documents open, but what we're going to do is we're going to run a batch action here. So we have several different options here for our batch actions, and you'll find this in the Bluebeam Extreme edition of Bluebeam. So there's a CAD edition, and then there's the Extreme edition. So the Extreme edition allows you to do these batch actions. So if you're not seeing this in your product, then you might need to upgrade to the Extreme edition. So we're going to do a batch link. We're going to hit New, and ask us to add the folders that we want to link. So we actually want to link our current documents. So we're going to select this folder, and we're going to bring it in. We also want to link our RFIs. So we're going to go back here, and we're going to choose the RFI folder. We'll select that folder. So now we've got these two folders with all their documents contained in the little batch link wizard here, and we want to select Next. So the next thing it's going to ask us is we're going to try to generate search terms, and we're going to map those to a destination. So we use the file name, and if you remember, our page labels were what created the file name. So these two options are practically identical, but I like to use the file name just as best practice. And you can see here that currently it's selecting and it's omitting everything to the right of the underscore, and we're left with the search term of A001. Now that's what we want. That's what we want to see, and I'll explain to you why in here in just a second. So if we hit No Filter and we apply this, you'll see that we generate a scan result of A001, and the search term is also A001 site plan. So if we hit Generate, what this has done is it's generated search terms. So Bluebeam will go through each document inside of each folder and search for the text A001 underscore site plan. Anywhere it finds that text, it's going to link to this destination file. If we leave it like it is now, Bluebeam will never detect a word or a search term inside of those documents that matches this, so we won't actually create any hyperlinks. What it will detect, though, is it will detect A001 by itself. So anywhere a section is referenced as A001, it will then hyperlink to this document. And that's how Bluebeam search functionality works. So what we want to do is we want to go back in here in Settings, and we want to create a filter. So we're going to do First from Start. In this case, we want to use underscore. I think this is best practice to use underscore as your filter character, and try to label all of your documents with that underscore to the left. So you also have a couple different options. So you can use a dash, an underscore, space, and a period. But again, I think underscore as a best practice is typically you get the most reliable results. So I'll click OK, and you'll see, we'll go ahead and generate these again, and you'll see now I have search terms of A001, A101, A102, etc. And these are all things that will be referenced in sections. And then you also see down here that I have RFI 01, because I very purposely named my RFI in this manner so that it would search for this term. The next thing I want to do is I want to set up my link options. So So you only have to do this once, and typically the defaults are okay. So we want to set it at whole words only. We want to use relatives past. I typically like to override existing, and I do color mine, and I tend to color mine a yellow color. And the reason this is because I want the superintendent who are on site looking at this on their iPad to know if it's yellow, I can click on it and it should take me somewhere else. And that's important because sometimes we'll do a really clear color or something that they can barely see. And what happens is if there was a hyperlink that wasn't picked up, they'll continue to click on it and it may not take them anywhere. So you really want them to have confidence that anytime they see a yellow highlighted area, they can click on that and it's going to take them to the appropriate place. So we'll hit OK now that we have those set, and we only have to set this one time. The next time we do it, those settings will remain the same. So we're actually going to run this hyperlink. It's going to go through all those documents and hyperlink them. So it says 22 hyperlinks were created, 19 were deleted. So apparently we had a few hyperlinks already in the document. So I'm going to hit Finish and Close. If I bring back up those sheets, so if I go to my current documents now, and let's go to ground floor, so you'll see here, this was my sheet, and I have a single sheet, and now all of my callouts are hyperlinked. So if I click on A302, my A302 drawing appears. If I go back, I could go back and I can look through this, and you can see A602 is hyperlinked, A302 is hyperlinked, A301 is hyperlinked. But one thing you'll notice, because of the way I did this, I flattened my RFI callout. I'm actually going to hyperlink my RFI. So this is just a setup RFI, but you can see how you can quickly hyperlink your callouts or add annotations and actually hyperlink them to other documents. So from this page right here, you can see how a superintendent could quickly navigate to every piece of information he needed about this. And you can see how you can leverage this Bluebeam workflow. This is really powerful because it creates a couple of options for you. So now you can turn over this PDF to the owner, already pre-hyperlinked for him, and you can also leverage it in field throughout the course of the project. So that's the way that we kind of set up our hyperlinks. Now, in field, we're going to go ahead and just upload these, and I'll show you sort of the strategy that we take for doing that. So let's jump over to our website. So we're in this training project document library. So I created this specifically for this webinar. And what we're going to do is you're going to see that we have no documents in this library. There's actually absolutely zero selected. But we want to bring in that folder of documents, and we also want to bring in the RFIs and all that. So we could click this upload button and drag those in here, but then we'd have to individually create folders for each one of those. So we'd have to add a folder for current drawings and then slide the documents in, create another folder for RFI and slide those documents in. But another option is here where we can actually upload these as folders, and we can click import. So it's going to ask you, or it's going to prompt you for your field ID and password. The next thing it's going to do is it's going to create this drop down for you of all your projects. Hopefully you won't have as many projects as I do. And you'll click next, and then you're just going to navigate to the folder structure that you're looking for. So here we're going to have to go a little deep to get to my desktop, but that's okay. So we're going to go to our webinar documents, and we want to bring in our current documents, and we want to bring in our RFIs, and I'm going to go ahead and place my shop drawings in here as well. So you can see I didn't upload my DD drawings because my current documents are really what I'm concerned about. I want to make sure that those guys just know that the documents inside of field are the most current. If I wanted to upload this, it wouldn't cause any problems. It would just allow them to see these independent of the current document. When we're doing the slip sheeting process, this will become clear as to why I'm doing this way. So we're going to hit next. It's going to tell us that, hey, 21 files are ready to upload to BIM 360 field. Library, are you ready to upload those? Yes. So we're just going to click copy files, and that process will start to take place. It shouldn't take about a second to upload these two documents, but I want to make a point once they've been uploaded. So the upload's been completed. So we're going to quit this, and I want to show you that what field is actually doing. So if I refresh this right now, chances are we're not going to see any documents appearing in the library. So we've got one. So we've got the current documents folder was created, and there's one item within that folder. So what you need to recognize is that anytime you upload something to the field servers, it goes through and it scans that document for hyperlinks. It optimizes that document for an iPad, and then it places it in the folder. So a lot of times these folders, the hyperlinks, etc., aren't immediately accessible. So the best thing to do is just be patient, give it a little bit of time, and that information will populate inside of the website. And you'll see here, this will probably load up with a couple of more this time. So see, now we've got a couple of more in here. And it's going to continue to show this processing. So just be patient with it. All right, so we've got our first DD set in. Our guys are good to go. They can actually sync up their documents down to their iPad, and they can start running with this. No problem, right? So the next thing that happens on a job is that you get in a revision set. So in this case, we showed that we have our DD drawings and we have our current documents. But now we've received from the architect a CD set. So how do we manage this process in an efficient way? So we're going to do a similar process to what we did before. So a lot of this will be duplicate or repetitive, but that's okay. It doesn't take long once you kind of get the hang of what you're doing. So in this case, again, we're just going to scan the title block, make sure everything's good. We're going to auto mark these pages. So I'll select pages here, and then I'm going to do my underscore again, and I'm going to add the actual description. So I'll add this description and symbols and legends, okay. And then we're going to apply this to all 25 pages. So we hit OK. These page labels are created. Just wait for this to process. Okay, so the page labels was created. And just as I'm doing my QA/QC work over here on the left and making sure everything's good, I run across this, right? And you see what happened here is that scan region was set up as this, and the software just really didn't know what to do with this. And so this is the output that we got. So it's pretty simple. All we got to do is just double click this, and we can rename it right here. So we're just going to rename that cover sheet, and looks like everything else kind of came in the way it should. Now that we've done that, we're going to extract the pages again. So we're going to extract the pages. We want to make sure we select all of them. Hit OK. This time we're going to need a CD drawings folder that we can place these in. So CD drawings. We're going to select that folder. We're going to select the folder, and now it's going to extract those pages. So those pages have now been extracted. I'm going to save this so that it will retain my page labels here. So I saved that. I can close this out now. So now I'm going to go through here and just analyze the differences between these two. So the CD drawings, if I click into here, I have 25 items. If I click into my DD drawings, I have 19 items. So the architect has not only made revisions, but he's also added in completely new documents. So the way that we're going to manage this is we're going to manage this through the slip sheeting process inside of Bluebeam. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here. We're going to do another batch action. This is going to be a slip sheet. So we will slip sheet these. Similarly to hyperlinking, you don't need to have those documents open. You're going to add a folder. So we want to slip sheet the current documents. Okay. So if you'll see here, it says the current pages. And we want to bring those in, and we want to also show the revised pages so that it knows how to flip sheet these. We're going to add the folder. We're going to go to DD drawings. I'm sorry, CD drawings. Those are our revised pages. So we'll select those pages so you can see everything pulled in like it's supposed to. And now that we have that, we're going to match these up by file name and page index. We're going to hit match. And now what it's done is it said, okay, A001 underscore site plan, we found a match for that. And you can see how it's matched each one of these, right? So you can see how it's matched each one of those. And here under unmatched, you can see that there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 documents that were not matched plus the cover sheet. So if you look at A401 and we go back to our DD set here, you can see that there are no A400s inside of this DD set. So these are truly the new documents, and this is probably correct. So what we can do now is we can take this, and we want to make sure that all of the settings that we want down here are right. So we want to insert revised pages before current pages, copy markups from current pages to revised pages. So this is going to bring that RFI markup to the front. And then we want to stamp the current pages as superseded. So the workflow, the paper workflow for this would be getting your original set of documents, unstapling them, getting your other ones printed out, your revised set, and then you're going to flip through each one of them. You're going to make those markups on the new ones, and then you're going to cross the old one out with a highlighter and leave that in there so that you can see the history of the documents. This is sort of the electronic version of that process. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And this is going to go and revise my current document set. So it's currently added all those to my document set. So if I look at my current documents now, you'll see that each one of these is now 2 pages long, right? And the reason that is, I'll show you in a second, but it slip sheeted it. So it added the new one on top of the old one and then marked it superseded. But it's asking us, hey, what do we want to do with these pages that we couldn't find matches for? And we want to extract these pages as separate files, and we want to send them into that current folders or that current documents folder so that we can have them as part of the current set. So we want to navigate down to the current documents, and we're going to hit select this folder. And so what it's done is it's extracted those and it's put it into that folder. Now we want to, we've got all these here. This is the unmatched pages. This is just sort of a drawing log showing you exactly what it did. It says that A102 was inserted before A102 ground floor, and we can actually create a report from this called a PDF report from it called batch summary CD set. We'll click OK. And it just went ahead and generated that report for us, and we've got it saved in our file just so we've got a history of what we've done. So now we've got that done, we can go back into here, and we want to look at our current documents again. So let's take this one for example. This is the one we've been working on. So this current document now has all the hyperlinks in it. They were all brought forward, and if you see here on the left side, I've got a superseded set. So if I looked at this, this would be my DD drawing, and this would be my current construction document drawing. So this is how it shows up, and you can see how that's beneficial. So the guys in the field, when they're using BIM 360 Field and they have it on their iPad, all they have to do is flip to the next sheet, and they'll see the document, the previous document, so that they can sort of get an idea for the history of it. I want to point out one other thing though. So in the past, on that last example, we actually leveraged markup that we created. Well, in this example, inside of this document, we have some callouts for curtain wall. So this G2 right here. Well, I have a shop drawing for curtain wall that I want to leverage as part of this. So if you look at my shop drawing set here, the way that I've named it, I can go and leverage that as well. So I've named it G2, curtain wall, to where it makes sense, right? So now all we have to do is take our current documents. We're going to go ahead through the hyperlink process again. So we're going to batch hyperlink, batch link, new. We're going to take it. We're going to add folders. So this time we're going to need all 3 folders again. So we'll need our current documents. That's one folder. We're going to add another folder. We need our RFIs. Select that folder. And we're going to need our shop drawings. So select that folder. All right, we've got all 3 of them in here now. So the next thing we want to do is we want to go do this by file name. Again, our settings are already set, so we don't have to do that again. All we got to do is generate them. Everything came in accurately, it looks like. We've got it searching for RFI01, and now anywhere it sees the word G2, it's going to take us to our curtain wall panel. Our link options remain the same as they were before, so we don't really need to look at that. And we can go ahead and run this. So now that we've got it run, there's 108 hyperlinks created, 65 are deleted, so it deleted our old ones and created new ones. We'll hit finish and close, and I'll show you now if I go back to this section here. Let's see, I think it was 401. So I'll go back to 401 now, now I've also got hyperlinks to these items here. So let's say this is my shop drawing for that curtain wall. You can see some of the details here. That's available to me and can be easily uploaded to Field and easily navigated in the iPad. So this is really a great way to leverage the power of Bluebeam with Field. The next thing we need to take a note of is that in Field, those documents should be uploaded by now. So let's go and we'll just check on it real quick. So it looks like everything's here, and you can see these were updated 9 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago. You can see kind of the lag as the servers get done processing and they post them to the actual site. So you see that took us about 10 minutes from the time that we got our new set in to the time we had it hyperlinked and ready to go. The next thing we want to do is we want to upload a new set. So we need to upload these revisions. So instead of deleting out all of our documents and then reposting them, that would be a big mistake, because anywhere where we had dropped pins for locations and issues, those items on the drawings will be essentially deleted. So we need to make sure that we're using versioning properly. So we need to actually version these documents, and in versioning them, we'll actually slip and slide these new sheets over the old ones. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to do it the exact same way, but we want to make sure to be cognizant that all of our names are named the exact same. And so we did that in the process that we just went through. So we're going to sign in again. It's going to ask us for a project. We're going to go down here to this training project document library. Hit next. We're going to navigate again to the desktop. And we want to go to webinar docs. And we want to bring in the current documents because they have both sets in there because we've slip sheeted them. And that's where I was saying we don't necessarily need to have CD drawings and DD drawings, but you can upload those. We also want all of our RFIs and all of our shop drawings. So that's the exact same folders that we uploaded last time. We're going to hit next, and you'll say this is where you want to put them. That's correct. Next, telling us that we have 27 files that they want to upload. That's correct. So we want to go ahead and copy those files. So looks like we're having a problem here with uploading. I'm not sure if we're uploading too soon. It's back to back. Let me try this one more time, and then we'll go to questions. All right, so again, take your project, pick the folders, webinar docs. We want to take current documents, RFIs, shop drawings. We're going to click next again and bring these in, and then we want to copy these files. So it looks like it took it that time. I'm not sure what that problem was. I don't think I've ever gotten an error before, but I'll show you now kind of what it's doing. So it's going to overlap and create a version inside of the Field library. And that's important, again, because the Field markups will actually be brought to the front to the most current page. So it says upload complete. We're going to click this. And remember, again, we have to be patient. So right now there's 19 files, 1 and 1. There should be 25, I believe, in here now. But you have to kind of be patient with the process because the servers need to optimize each one of those files. So you can see here, this one was uploaded a few seconds ago. You can see how it's versioning each one of these. And that's pretty much it for versions and how they work. So if we name the documents the same thing, then we're going to get a version history. So if we look at this, this is pretty quick, but you can see here that now we have a version history. So this was where it was 15 minutes ago. This is its current state. And if we needed to delete one of these out, we actually could delete it out here. We would not want to delete it entirely out of the project and re-upload it because we'd lose some of that history. So you want to delete it here if you have to delete it, but you want to leave a version of this in the document library at all times. So anyways, I think that's all we've got for today. It's really all the time we have. So hopefully that helps you out with the process of uploading drawings and hyperlinking those. Hopefully it gave you some ideas on how to really position the way you name your files in a way that's conducive to hyperlinking, and just hopefully help you out in general. So anyways, with that being said, I think Cliff's been taking questions or fielding those questions as they're coming in. So Cliff, do you have any questions for us?
Yep, got a couple questions here. First one is, are these RFIs generated from the field and recorded over glue after these are generated and uploaded?
So these RFIs would be generated outside of SIM 360 field. So it'd be kind of your typical process, right? You'd create an RFI template, send it over. Some people are using Prolog to create these templates. But then ultimately you're going to save a PDF version of that and link that to the your drawing set before you upload it to field, so that those hyperlinks will be available in the iPad. I think that answers the question.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. You mentioned that the field server optimizes PDF documents. Would you say the optimized PDF renders faster in field than the original would in Bluebeam Review for iPad?
I haven't done any tests on that, so I'm not certain that I can answer that question definitively, but I would say that they're probably about the same.
And next question is, you would copy the folders even though they did not change?
Well, the folders, so in this instance, the folders, the names did not change, right? But if you remember our current document set, we went from the original DD set, and when we got our CD set, there was actually 25 drawings in the CD set, and there was in the DD set we only had 19. So in the CD set we had 5 additional drawings added, and so when I created the current documents and slip sheeted it, those 5 additional drawings, which was the A400 drawings, were added to this this folder. So the folder did actually change. There were 4 documents added, and then each one of these were slip sheeted. So again, the old ones were put on the back end, like we see here, and then the new ones were brought to the front. So this is our construction document, and this is our DD document with the stamp over it.
So is that the same? Is that the same even if the contents of the folders did not change? That's a follow-up to that one.
Yeah, so the contents of the folder, even if the contents of the folder did not change, so if you remember my RFI folder and my chop drawing folder, neither one of them, the contents didn't change, but we still created a version history of it. So it's not going to affect anything if you upload them the same every time. Even the contents didn't change, it won't affect your library at all. So we could go back here and you could see that our RFIs were in here, and you could see that they're, and it may not have gotten to it yet, so that may be why we're not seeing it. But yeah, so this one hasn't, it's still waiting, but when it comes in, it's just going to show a version over here of every time you uploaded those documents.
Excellent. And what if all drawings don't have the same title block?
So that's a really good question. So if all drawings don't have the same title block, typically, and this happens frequently, so it's not out of the ordinary. I wish I could take the time to really show you how to troubleshoot and do that process efficiently, but really it's not any different, other than what I typically do is my architectural set will have one title block that's different than my mechanical set, let's say. Or really every trade may have a different title block, and that's okay, but what I do is I'll have a DD set with a architectural DD folder within it, and then a civil folder, a mechanical folder, etc. And I'll go through that auto mark process and the extract pages as individual files. I'll go through that on each one of those sets individually, individually. And then once I do that, I can hyperlink all of those at the exact same time, because the hyperlinking functionality within Field allows you to actually bring in folders and include subfolders. So if you see here, add subfolders. So I would still select my DD set, but within that, it would have my mechanical, civil, architecture that have all been split out and named properly. But you could do it all at one time. So it's a little more work, a little more processing, but you could do it pretty effectively once you kind of get this pattern down of managing your documents.
Excellent. Thank you, Clinton. And I got another question here. Can you hyperlink multiple sets of documents at once? In the demo, you only showed linking the architectural drawings.
So yeah, so in the demo, one of the things I was trying to show was you can link multiple sets of documents at once, because if you remember in the demo, I brought in my RFI folder with additional documents in it, and I also brought in my my shop drawing folder with additional documents in it. So again, you can add as many folders as you want with as many different files as you need within there. That's not a problem. So I did it. I think your question is, can you link your mechanical to your architectural, et cetera? And the answer is yes. But you can really link. I wanted to show that you can link more than just drawings together. You can also link your RFIs and your shop drawings. Any PDF, as long as you're careful about how you name it, you can link those documents together.
And follow up to that, so will the RFI link back to the architectural drawing?
No, so it won't, but you could if you actually, I take that back, and I probably could have shown this. You can have it linked back to your architectural drawing. So if you were to put in, let's say your architectural drawing was A102, right? In your RFI, in the text of the RFI, if you wrote out A102 anywhere in that text, then yes, when it scans to the hyperlink, remember, it's taking the search term, it's scanning every document, including your RFI. If A102 is mentioned in that text of that document, then absolutely it will hyperlink right back to A102. So it works both ways. And that's really a powerful workflow when you combine that. So, but again, it takes a little bit of information of knowing how these items link together, and then actually being cognizant enough to write that out, A102, inside of the description for your RFI.
Excellent. And I've got another question here. How will BIM 360 Docs affect this workflow?
So hopefully, BIM 360 Docs will really create a efficient process for this to happen, right? So the idea is you upload it to BIM 360 Docs, and a lot of this process is taken. So Docs will handle versioning. It's going to handle hyperlinking. It's going to handle all of this process really, and hopefully automate 95% of it for you. But in the current state where BIM 360 Docs is right now, it doesn't link to Field. There's talk that Docs will be the new library for Field at some point in the future, but not knowing when that will be, we really wanted to kind of get this webinar out there to show you how you can manage it now in the interim until Docs kind of replaces this process.
Perfect. And question on versioning. How does versioning work with issue pins and markups inside of Field?
So versioning with issue pins and markups inside of Field, again, just like we talked about, it's gonna, the next version, so the most current version you have, is gonna slide underneath those pins, and those pins will land on the most current document you have.
Excellent. And Clint, we've got one that looks like it's a little personal for you. What is the bird on your taskbar? What's that icon?
The bird on the taskbar. Oh, this is AirParrot. So it essentially allows me to show my screen on Apple TV or some other type of, allows me basically to throw my screen to a TV.
Cool, cool. Thank you very much, Clinton. And I think that was our last question.
Okay. All right, well, I guess that concludes the webinar then. Do we have anything else, Cliff?
That is all I've got. Wait, I got one more question that just popped in here. Do you see both pages with the versioning?
You see both pages. So I think the question is, I think the answer to that question is probably
and the superseded. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so the superseded inside of Field, you will see this. So that one-page document, just similar to what this is, turned into a two-page document, and one is overlapped on the other. I think that's the answer to the question. So yes, just like you see it here, this is now a two-page document, and you can go and look in our current set here, and you'll see that each one of these is now a two-page document. Again, it's a replacement of the paperwork flow of manually unstapling your document set and sliding these PDFs in front of the other one, and then taking your highlighter and crossing out that one behind it. So the answer, I think, is yes.
Excellent. Thank you. And I think that is our last question.
All right. Cliff, don't we need to draw for the gift card? I think that was the last time we need, so people are probably hanging out for that. If you want to pick someone.
Definitely. I had one more question pop in, Clinton, if you don't mind.
All right.
Is it possible to download the drawings from BIM 360 Field and preserve all hyperlinks created initially in Bluebeam or later in BIM 360 Field?
That's a good question. I haven't tested that. I think the answer would be yes. So all of that should come down. Now remember, when you're in Bluebeam, we click the relative path button, so it's not tied to someone's desktop necessarily or to their individual computer. So it should work, but they need to keep that file structure when they download the documents. They need to download all of them at the same time so that those links will work between those different folders.
Okay, perfect. All right, and our winner for the gift card giveaway is going to be Joe Truitt. Joe, you still on with us? Yep, looks like he is. So Joe Truitt, we'll get that gift card information over to you, and we appreciate you hanging out with us.